Yo, what is up? Today's Try Hard. We are riding with Mystery Bob 666 in his Progetto 54. Of course, this is the newest Italian heavy tanks that have just dropped in 1.11 updates. Of course, the Progetto 54 is one of 4 heavy tanks released by the Italian heavies, starting with the Caro P88, and then the Tier 8, which is this one, the Tier 9, which is the 66, and the Tier 10, which is the Reno Chironte. I can tell you I've played all of them. The best ones are the Tier 8 and the Tier 9, which is the Progetto 54 and the Progetto 66. Bob here is in a platoon of 3 in a Scorpion G, and the other tank is an ELC 11, but they're all playing their own game and doing their own thing. He manages to bounce a shot right there. His tracks took it from the Progetto 54, another Tier 8 Italian heavy tank, and he managed to absorb that shell. He's in a good position here to create some crossfire against the enemy team. They have made the ultimate mistake here. They are driving into crossfire. They cannot defeat those 2 tanks in front of them, but our friend Bob 666 here is going to flank them on the other side, and he is going to create crossfire that, and those guys have already lost all the HP. Just look at that. So what he needs to do is just try to get into safety here. He takes another hit, but again his tracks take up the heat, or he bounced. So all he needs to do right now is just take his time. Those guys in front of him cannot push each other. The enemy can't push his team, and his team can't push into the enemies because the enemies have a little bit of backup at the back as well. So Bob here is just taking his time, make sure that he is fully reloaded, fires 1 shell, fully reloads and fires another shell, and then fires 2 shells, and he's going to leave the 9-0 line and try to get some vision down in the middle and towards the enemy base, and that's exactly what he wants to do. Now arguably he could have helped his team continue to push down the 9-0 line, but to be honest with you, if you're looking at the team lineup right now, you can see that they are heavily defended down the 9-0 line. Even if you defeat the heavy tanks that are nearest to the 9-0 line, there are tank destroyers sitting right at the back. The SU-130 PM, there is a Lorraine 40 ton, there is an ISU 152K sitting at the back. So it is just does not make much sense to continue pushing on to the 9-0 line. Instead, what our friend Bob 666 here is doing is trying to root out, or trying to dig out that LT-432 in the enemy team, which is a very smart move, because that is one of the most dangerous tanks in the enemy team. And as you can see, our own allies, our own ally teammate in the LT-432 is going to attempt to proxy spot the enemy 432 and succeeds in doing so, and because of that there is a very good chance that the enemy LT-432 will be eliminated, and once the LT-432 is eliminated, we would have an advantage because we have a full HP LT-432 on our team that could really tip the scale here, or give our team, the allied team, the advantage. Now what the enemy team here is doing is trying to create their own crossfire. You can see the tank out here, which is the Progetto 54, trying to get into the low ground and create crossfire, but now our friend Bob has figured that out, and he is creating also a crossfire for the allied team. And what he's doing is making those enemy teams not just focus on those guys, friendlies closest to them, but they've also got to try to figure out when Mystery Bob's 666 is going to poke out and shoot at them. So this is a massive advantage. Bob did a good job here, helping out his team at the bottom of the map, and instead of trying to go up front right next to the T26 E5, what he did is go down to the back side and create something of a mini crossfire. Now, although they are technically still in the same line of fire, but when you are poking out in different locations, this forces the enemy to zoom in and out of their reticles. They have to hit the shift key and zoom in to aim at the GSOR or the T26 E3, or then snap to the mystery bomb here in the Progetto 54. So this forces them to look, to try to look at two places at one time. And when you're looking at me, my teammates are shooting at you. When you're looking at my teammates, then I'm poking out and shooting at you. And this worked totally to the allied team's advantage. Now we are still down by one tank. In fact, we lost our healthy our healthy LT432, which should not have sacrificed his health. He was full HP, and the enemy LT432 was a one shot, and somehow or rather our LT432 managed to get himself killed, and the enemy LT432 one-shot LT432 is still alive. Now probably the enemy LT432 is a pretty good player, so he knows what he's doing, he knows what he needs to do to stay alive. Our friend Bob here got spotted while he was driving away. Obviously someone has climbed up to the hills. Probably the LT432 snuck down to the middle and is poking through on the top of the hill. He catches off that Object 252 trying to sneak away, and a snapshot and finishes him off with one shot. You can see the SU-130PM is trying to do a little bit of spotting, trying to creep forward, but our friend Bob here is not trying to take the risk and go forward to spot him, because that SU-130PM has a ISU-152K supporting him at the back. So anybody who gets spotted here for too long, that ISU 152K could actually land a huge blow to them, because remember the ISU 152K does 750 damage or something ridiculous like that. So it's very painful if you have to take a shot from the ISU. Anyway, here comes the Lorraine making the moves. Their team is ahead by 2 tanks, so they are taking a little bit more of the aggressive stance here, going forward. But our friend Mystery Bob here, he's got the HP, he's got the shells enough to finish all 2 tanks, the Lorraine and the Scorpion, without taking a hit. And that was a really good move by Mystery Bob here. And when he did that, the LT432 found his opportunity to sneak up to the hills from the back and try to finish off his supporting teammate, which was that GSOR. Now it is a 1v3 situation. All the enemy needs to do is drive up together and fight and try to fight our friend Bob here, but instead the ISU has shown himself, and he has hit the tracks and missed his shot. Now Bob does not waste any more shells on him, because he is expecting that he was expecting that SU-130PM to flank him while he was facing the ISU 152K, but he didn't, and now he's turned around and try and look for that ISU 152K. He spotted where he is, but he's anticipating the SU 130 PM to try and get him, surround him, and that's exactly what the LT432 is trying to do. LT432 landing 2 shots, very important, and Bob here is faced with a real tough situation here. Although he did manage to land a nice shot on the ISU and managed to finish him with the second shot, but the problem is he needs to reload. He's got 1 shell and he can finish that LT432. What I can say from this encounter is between that LT432, that ISU and the SU 130 PM, the tank that did the misplay that threw the game for the enemy team here is definitely the SU 130 PM. He had HP. He could have taken 1 shot or 2 shots and fired 1 shot on our friend here Bob and did a little bit of damage, and while Bob was reloading, that LT432 and that ISU 152K could have finished the job off easily, but instead the SU 130 PM chose to disengage and run away. He might have sacrificed his HP, he might have got himself killed, but he could have definitely landed 1 nice shot on Mystery Bob here and could have left the blowing shot to the ISU or the LT432, but instead he has gifted the victory to Mystery Bob 666 here. That's not to say that Mystery Bob did not do very well and totally deserved the win. There you go, a bunch of medals for Mystery Bob and Ace Tanker as well. Over 6,325 damage, 10 kills, which is a pool's medal. Also blocked 2,630 damage. What an amazing game. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something from Mystery Bob 666 gameplay in Karelia. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.